Welcome to the 2400 Block Podcast with your host, Johnny Rubes.
Oh my gosh, guys. Oh my gosh. Looks like things are working here. Yeah, I'm taking a look at myself right now with the Logitech Brio webcam, and it seems to look very, very impressive looking at myself in real good, crisp, clear quality. So everything around me, including myself, as I see it, it comes to show that this new webcam is definitely worth it, worth the investment, especially coming back from a long trip all the way out there in Hampton Roads, Virginia, which I will always refer to as my hometown, consisting 2 of the 7 cities, that is Norfolk and lastly Virginia Beach, where my folks are right now. And it's been a rough month and a couple of days. I've lost my brother Jason, and it's very, 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 very unfortunate to know what has happened to him. I will not disclose all the details here, as this is something private. But I do have to say that he's lived a remarkable life, a life well lived, and he was the smartest of us brothers, and he always will be. I can never top that, including when it comes to talking. He actually deserves to be on the podcast more than me. He retains a whole lot of information, knows a whole lot of everything, and has what it takes to give you the full definitive an hour, 2+ hours of talking. He is always going to be good at that. Me, I'm just subpar, but I love being on a mic. I love designs. I love art. And this is just one of them right here that I like doing. I like doing this type of medium. And I also want to give a special shout out to Dave Allegre, who was the videographer for my brother's funeral. He isn't just that, he is also a really good friend. Through the years, I respect his work. He has awesome videography products, as well as carrying on the experience. We've had a wonderful podcast just a few days ago in his 30-foot RV trailer, and we had a great time despite the weather, despite the rain, even sometimes the conditions around us was just so humid that sometimes part of that humidity kind of like goes into the trailer. But he has an AC kicking in, but we try to keep it down. But when it comes to the filtering done on Riverside, it removes most of that sound. So he could have turned up the AC, but of course we just want to make sure that it was going to work with the air conditioning unit off. But we had a great time. We had about 2+ hours of talking nonstop, but also in between there was a little bit of some, technical snafus. We didn't know that one of his cameras was going to get that hot and then end the video. So if you watch the complete podcast, which is episode 601, yes, we had season 6 premiere. It starts off with that episode, and as I was saying, when you go through the next couple of minutes, it somehow wounds up like, why are they talking about this one when they should have talked about that other part? Well, because the camera turned off and we realized it like during the middle of our talk, it shut off. So that's why you see it the way it is. However, we were able to enjoy the talk as a whole. Too bad the camera missed most of that. And to conclude it, hopefully we'll be able to talk more often, make it the usual thing. I think it would be cool. But the thing is, I'm talking here back in the studios, and then I'll be talking to him in his 30-foot trailer, which is Green Thumb Studios. So I love this joint effort to continue. Hopefully he'll continue on the trend. I know he's a busy guy. We'll see what we can do. And I think it'll be really great for the 2 of us to make it a habit. And I hope it brings a lot of variety to you guys, besides me talking, of course, doing these unofficial podcast episodes. But it's good to be back. It's good to be back here on the podcast, back doing what I love as a hobby. I'm not making any profit out of this. I'm just doing this for for the sake of fun. Of course, like I said, it's just part of the medium I like doing as an artist. Being on the mic, talking about things what's from my heart, doing it in limitless fashion. Love it. And today, I just want to say that season 6 has officially opened. And with that episode featuring Dave and I, check it out, episode 601. It's our first collaborative effort, like as in Green Thumb Studios meets the 2400 block. Well, we sort of had that many episodes ago in season 4. So if you go back to season 4, he was in the Philippines at that time, but it wasn't like as good as it was when I met him in a 30-foot trailer there and having to talk to him one-on-one on that table with the Rodecaster, with the mic, with the headphones. It was just an awesome experience all its own. Okay, going back to what happened in Virginia. Yes, my brother had passed, as I've indicated to you guys earlier on. I was able to take home some of his things, which were once his. Part of that is still in the family home in Virginia, but I was able to take some stuff with me and make good use of them. Yesterday, actually not yesterday, but it was on Monday, sorry, getting mixed up with my dates here. When we were hanging out with Preston, the little kid that I'm always with, I was wearing my brother's Dr. J jersey. So it's really cool just having to take a piece of my brother with me. And hold up for 1 second. I'm just going to show you something, okay? Just hang in there. I'll be right back. Which means I have to put this headphone down too. Okay, let me go take my seat here. This right here is the card that was passed to all of the guests that attended my brother's funeral. So here it is. Let me show it to you on the camera. Yeah, that is my brother Jason right there, dressed up in his sailor uniform, with that portrait taken back, I believe it's in the 90s, and that was him at the time. I believe he was already on the John C. Stennis aircraft carrier, so that's what many of the people who went to the visitation and the funeral had. And by the way, thanks to all of you for being supportive to me and my family, and for taking your time out and having to come meet us and bidding farewell to our beloved Jason just one last time to see him. And I know some of you guys are asking me, how have I been doing? How am I taking this? Well, I just want to say I'm taking it day by day. There have been some instances where I'm still thinking about him, and sometimes he shows up in my dreams. This is like maybe the 3rd or 4th time he showed up in my dreams already. So somewhere in my subconscious mind, he still resonates some way, somehow. And it seems like a piece of me can't let him go, and probably never will. Jason is always going to be living on in our memories, mine's included. He's lived just about, I'm already the age of 50, so he's lasted that long for me to always remember him. Unless I get wound up in the head and I don't remember. But I hope that does not happen at some point in my life. But as we get older, it is inevitable. These changes are inevitable. Yep. By the way, for those that want to know, the full funeral video is being worked on right now by Dave, the videographer again. And he is taking as much time to deliver a great product for you guys to see. One version will be shared to us privately for friends and for family. And the second part is having to put that into a video tribute, as well as a recollection from friends about how my brother was. And it's going to be another joint effort by Green Thumb Studios and myself here at the 2400 block to deliver what is going to be a great episode commemorating my brother's life. I hope you guys will take a look into it. Not sure exactly when it's going to be released, but I can tell you guys right now, it's most likely in the coming days ahead. He's very close to getting it done. I know it's going to take some wear and tear on his computer, but I know it's going to do the job. I have faith in that. I have faith in Dave. He's always great at what he do. I know the equipment have changed. I know we went from really big to now these handheld devices that can do everything. I'm very proud that Dave's done a stellar job throughout the years, having to deal with the changing of technology. I mean, that takes a lot out of someone, and imagine he just gave me this thing here. Like, he was really interested in buying this $8,000 product, technology back then. Probably he couldn't buy $19 jeans, but you know what? It'll all pay off. in the end, it will all pay off. He can get as many jeans as he wants. I tell you right now. They just sent me that text message not too long ago about that. But, with this space and this time that I have right now with you guys, I can tell you for sure that Jason's memory will in fact live on forever, especially those that know him pretty well. And I even created a page just for him, honoring him. It's called For Jason. Let's keep talking. Yeah, let's keep the conversation going. That's what it is. Let's keep the conversation going. And I hope that continues to boost up a lot of inspiration for everyone to just talk about things. Talk about whatever's on your mind. You're not forced to talk about whatever it is because it's a tribute page for him. No, let's keep going. Let's talk about anything. We can talk about what's happening in your life, or what kind of fish you have eaten, or your take on the Superman movie. Oh yeah, by the way, I do have to talk about the Superman movie coming up, and I think Dave still has to see the Superman movie in the theaters. So once he wraps up his project, as well as watching the Superman movie, then you know what? We will have a full-fledged spoiler review. Yes, you heard that right, folks. Spoiler review. We are going to talk about this new Superman movie. Should it be loved? Should it be hated? Well, you know what? It's just a piece of art, and art can be perceived in many ways. But you know what? I'm going to provide my own take of it. I'll try to remain as neutral as possible. I know people out there are hardcore Snyder fans. They're Snyder fans because people still love that Man of Steel movie, and I think that DC did Henry Cavill disservice. He was the quintessential Superman that we all knew. But I just thought that maybe it would have been better if it was handled better. Maybe, I don't know. Sometimes when it comes to the art of movie making, one can make his or her interpretation of a subject. And that's what happened here with Superman. Well, anyways, I'm just going to talk about that on another episode. I know that's just too much to talk here on this Wednesday. My day off, by the way, and I'm enjoying my day off. Reese's at work right now. She's doing her job. I'm over here in the home studio, just taking care of things. And I want to share something with you guys. I know this might take some time, some air time. So if you guys want to stick around, I can show you my dad's collection that I brought from Virginia. I actually took it with me on a 14-hour drive back to Illinois, which, by the way, was good until we reached Indiana, and then we were stuck in like a 40-minute traffic. No, not 40 hours. Now imagine if it was a 40-hour traffic. You know what? I would probably have a hotel stay by now. But I'm glad we were able to make it, especially on the afternoon hour on a Sunday. Prior to that, I was able to see Jason at his grave for the last time until we meet again. So I look forward to coming back to Virginia sometime around November, December, and by then my brother already have his headstone, and I look forward to that moment. Okay, so as I sip on my water here, this is water, this is not coffee. I drink a whole lot of water, especially on the summer, and it's important to stay hydrated. And I got something to show you guys, which I just referred to just a few minutes ago, and it's regarding my dad's collection. I want to show you guys some of my dad's collection for the next, shall we say, 10 or 15 minutes of this program here, this unofficial podcast episode, for me to connect to you right here. All right, so let me just sip on this real quick, and I'll show you some of the albums that my dad has. And I'm not sure if I can show them all, but I'll try to for the next 10 to 15 minutes. Okay, so now is the time to show some of my dad's collection. Maybe I can show them all. Probably not. Okay, let me take the first album out. Look at this, guys. The great new hit singing duo, Tony Sandler and Ralph Young. Look at that. That's definitely a throwback, just by looking at this picture of these two gentlemen here. Now, you won't see an act like this anymore, unless if you maybe go to some place in which a duo or a group can still perform looking as sharp like these guys did. I mean, these guys were definitely GQ in their heyday. So I was able to listen to this album, and there was one song that caught my attention, and I didn't know that they had the song. It's called Chicago. So maybe I could incorporate this song somehow when I'm driving through Chicago and playing their song. So that's really cool. Again, guys, Sandler and Young, side by side. Look at them. Looking pretty cool. I wish I could sing. Maybe I need a person with me who can be part of my duo. Okay, here's another album I'll take out. It's a very, very popular album of its time. One of my favorites. I still play it to this very day on Spotify. I'm so glad that I now have the vinyl from my dad's collection here. It is none other than Huey Lewis and the News, the sports album. Yep, the sports album. And it plays pretty good. And the tracks, they still sound so fresh. Like I'm back in the 80s. I'm an 8 or 9 year old just listening to this, and it's still clicking with me. So when I listen to this, it doesn't sound dated in my head. It totally plays like this is fresh. And I guess because of the movie Back to the Future, which is also my favorite movies, one of my favorite movies, it still gives me interest to listen to this group thanks to that movie. And by the way, their song The Power of Love is not in this album. It actually is in one of their later albums and is on the Back to the Future movie soundtrack. What else can I show here? All right. The one, the only Anne Murray. I never heard of this artist until mom and dad started playing it on the record player. And, for a while, her songs did resonate in my head. And then after that, I just lost interest in this type of music. I started listening to a whole lot of genres associated with my generation. And now here I am at 50, just going back to my dad's music collection and playing the songs that mattered to him back in the day. And now, you know what? It came full circle. I'm appreciating her music. She has so many wonderful songs here. I could name some. You got Danny's song, I Just Fall in Love Again. Could I Have This Dance? You Needed Me. Yeah, really good songs. I encourage you guys, if you're on Spotify right now, feel free to give Anne Murray a listen. Definitely give this woman her props. Really good artist of her time. Okay, guys, let's see what else I can find here in these stash of albums. Okay, I know I already shared some of this on YouTube as a post, so you may see a couple of album pictures that I've been holding at the time I was playing them on the record player. So some of these are like, I've seen this already. Okay, yes, the Doobie Brothers, Minute by Minute. Here they are, including the one and only Michael McDonald. Man, I was trying to do the finger thing, and I didn't notice that my finger is not moving correctly in the direction that I wanted. Yeah, that's weird. Sometimes when you're in the camera, you just don't know where your finger is. So, yeah, there he is, Michael McDonald, Minute by Minute. A lot of good albums here, too. What a Fool Believes, one of my favorite songs from this album. And look at it, still looks as good as new. It's in, I shall say, really good condition. Not pristine condition, because pristine, you probably won't have these things here in the corner. It looks kind of worn out a little bit because of it taking a beating here and there, being carried. But the album plays very well. There's not even a scratch on this thing. Thank goodness for the paper inside, which holds the album. No scratches from this album. Still plays well. So, wow, that's quite the collection he's has so far. And they all range from different artists. And here's one of my favorite artists. And I always play his song every time, whenever I go to West Virginia. Take Me Home Country Roads. Whenever they say West Virginia, I always listen to this album whenever I'm heading towards, the mountains. There he is, John Denver. John Denver's greatest hits. Look at him. Looking so young. I think he was only like maybe in his probably mid to late 20s on that shot. Yeah, the one and only John Denver. Too bad he tragically died I guess he died in a plane crash? I could be wrong. Now, I don't really have good memory, but I heard that something bad happened to him many years later, resulting to his life's end. But his work certainly lives on through albums like this, John Denver's greatest hits. And one of my favorite songs here was The Eagle and the Hawk, Goodbye Again, Follow Me, Goodbye Again, Rocky Mountain High, of course. All right, so that's some of the collection there so far. Should I go on? What do you think? Yeah, I'll go on. Okay, here we go. All right, let me take you to the disco era. Around that time, yeah. I'm talking about the late 60s. We are talking about the Village People, Live and Sleazy. I mean, that says it all right there, right, guys? Of course, this is a live concert album with this group. Very popular at the time. Still is very popular. All because of, the one and only Donald Trump, of course. And, of course, it sounds just as lively. It sounds so vibrant. It sounds so full of life. Like you can just enjoy listening to the two records over here from their concert. When it's live, it just sounds so good that you can just sing along. And of course, it has the famous songs like Macho Man, In the Navy, YMCA, Fire Island, Hot Cop. Yeah, okay. Village People, guys. And here's a good one from the collection. It is The Best of Bread. You can't go wrong with this. They have songs that are pretty much popular to this very day. We got Make It With You, Everything I Own, Baby I'ma Want You, It Don't Matter to Me, Too Much Love, Truckin'. Wow, the list goes on. Great group of its time. Man, it's really take me back to the past. What else I have here? Check this out, guys. Olivia Newton-John. Totally Hot. Need I say more? Yeah, this is Olivia Newton-John's album from back in the day. I can't really say what year it was. I think this is, okay, so it says 1978. So around this time, she was already 30 years old. And she probably did the movie Grease already. I don't remember what year Grease came out. I think it came around that certain time. So great album. I listened to some of this. I'm not really too familiar with these songs, but as I listen to it, it's very, very, very steady. A steady type of pop music. You can never go wrong with her voice. This album does not contain her very famous songs, but it's still worth keeping. And believe me, with a voice like hers, you just want to keep on listening. Okay, so speaking of great voices, we're talking about Karen Carpenter and her brother. This album here, Now and Then, really good album. She has a wonderful voice. Yesterday Once More is featured in this album, and I'm trying to open this thing as good as I can. Well, look at that. Look at Karen and look at Richard. They look great. Wonderful painting there. Whoever did a good job on that one. But this is a good album. Can't really tell for sure what songs were in it. I think it was Yesterday Once More. That's the one that chimed in for the most part. But definitely another voice that can't be missed is Karen Carpenter. She is absolutely sensational. Okay, so let me delve further here as to what other albums I can show for the next 5 minutes. My time is running out here, guys. I don't want to put too much emphasis on these albums. Let me show you something here, guys, real quick. I'm just going to just show you a couple. So that way we can just wing it right here. Okay, Heart, the self-titled album. What About Love? Never, These Dreams, all in this one album. And it still sounds good to this very day. Album looks definitely taken care of. Just a few, corners are a little bit dented there, but it's not even obvious when you look at the dent. See that? It's just a little minor dent. But as far as the album is concerned, it is in a sheet, which is good for protection, and it is now 40 years old. Ann Wilson and Nancy Wilson. You can't go wrong with the Wilson sisters. Okay, let me keep going here. Okay, I wonder what happened to this guy. I haven't heard much from him. I wonder if is he even alive? See, I don't even know much about artists, whether they're living or not. I just knew them, mostly for their past work. Ronnie Milsap. Great artist of his time. As you can tell, he's blind, and he sings pretty good. I know he's had some health problems, but that's as far as I know. I don't know whether he's passed or if he's living. Hopefully he's living. I'll just put it that way. I'm sorry, guys, if I sound like I'm not knowing much. Been in the man cave for far too long, and I don't have time to research all the artists that my dad has listened to. So yeah, Ronnie Milsap. One of my favorite songs from here is Any Day Now. And I listened to this entire thing when I was a kid, but I just don't remember them now. But I do remember the first song, Any Day Now. Great artist. I'm definitely going to take time and revisit this album again. So, yep, Ronnie Milsap. Good album. Okay, let me go further and further and further till we get to that point where I want to show something really cool. Look, guys, first print, Michael Jackson's Thriller. I know this album has been, printed over and over again, reissued over and over again. Well, you know what? This is the first print of Michael Jackson's Thriller, and I'll definitely gonna take time to listen to this, maybe today, as I'm doing my podcasting activities, trying to prepare myself for the next episodes to come. Remember, guys, again, season 6 of this podcast has just begun. So I'm ready to deliver more. Hopefully we'll get past 14 episodes this time around because that's what it was last season. Last season was a much more shorter season. It's much watered down compared to the previous season, which was season number 4, which got me talking to a whole lot of guests. So maybe it's going to be a little bit of both next time around. And hopefully most of these guests are people that I know by heart or have come across with. So we'll see what's in store for the podcast in the times ahead. For me later, I will listen to Michael Jackson's Thriller. It has all the hits that spawned in this album, and the list goes on and on. You know the songs. I'm not going to waste any time to tell you what songs they were. Okay, let me keep going here. Check this out, guys. Casey and the Sunshine Band. I guess they're still touring. Casey's still on a roll. So, yeah, we have to check that out. Okay, guys, I'm going to put that one down. What albums can I grab here from the collection? There you go, guys. The Who. Who Are You? Yep, that song is in this album. Actually, this is the title of this Who album. Who Are You? Look at these guys looking all badass. Okay, and as I keep going here, I'm going to check more of the collection my dad has. Okay, guys, you'll love this one. The beautiful Donna Summer. Look at her. She's just amazing. What an amazing voice. What an amazing talent. Gosh, had she lived on, she would have made more songs. She probably would be back out there in concert. I mean, she has been doing some performances, but like being on concert, like again, and her music is going to gain interest in younger audiences. She was really on a roll until she passed away from cancer. But yeah, Donna Summer will always be the queen of disco. So yeah, she looks great here. Look at her. Looks lovely. Yeah, I miss Donna Summer. We all do. Okay, just maybe 3 more I can show you here from my dad's album collection. Look at this. Paul McCartney, Tug of War. One song really resonated with me as I listened to this as a kid, which was Ebony and Ivory, featuring Stevie Wonder. This song, it's still meaningful, and its lyrics are for real. I mean, let me just read the lyrics here, guys. Ebony and Ivory live together in perfect harmony, side by side on my piano keyboard. Lord, why don't we? We all know that people are the same wherever you go. I wish people can figure that out. There is good and bad in everyone. So guys, no matter what group you're representing, there's always going to be a bad apple out there that's going to misrepresent your group and give your group a bad name. No matter what ethnic group you may be in, there's always going to be one out there that's going to give your group a bad name, a bad rap. Let me continue on reading. There is good and bad in everyone. We learn to live. We learn to give each other what we need to survive together alive. Ebony and Ivory live together in perfect harmony, side by side on my piano keyboard. Oh Lord, why don't we? That is true that there is good and bad in everyone in this world today. This is why the world is what it is. And now with social media and everything, it gets even worse. Because back then, we all just get everything in our hands in delaying time. Like you see stuff in the news, or you just grab an album and you just listen to it. You grab a magazine. That's how it was back then. You listen to music on the radio. You listen to the news on the radio or on TV. So it's a little bit of everything. All right, guys. This is not my dad's collection, but this is from an album that I should have given back to somebody, and I have not given this album back to somebody, but I have taken care of it. So here it is. I guess this is from somebody in Variety Tunes many, many, many years ago. And guess what I have? Look at that. Tupac, If My Homie Calls, Brenda's Got a Baby. So, yeah, I got this album. It's still in good condition. I'm taking care of it. It's right here with me. So if any of you guys want your Tupac album back, feel free to give me a holler. Okay, so that wraps up the collection for now, and I'll show more again in the times to come. I don't want to just keep talking about albums here on this unofficial podcast episode. Guys, thank you for tuning in. Thanks for checking me out here as I am talking to you back in the studio, back after a long 1.5 hiatus due to the fact that my brother passed away and I had to be with the family and having the funeral and burial services happen. And the funeral and the burial were actually weeks apart. So it took about 3 weeks for everything to be complete. So, which leaves me now here. What will happen next? Well, I'm going to get that tribute episode going. Like I did mention it earlier on. We're getting that worked on, as well as many more podcast ideas that are going to come. I'm trying to think of who I can interview next, who I can talk with on a one-on-one conversation. Hopefully things are going to go well for this upcoming season. It's open game right here, man. Season 6 of the 2400 Block Podcast. Well, you know what, guys? I appreciate you for watching, for checking me out here, looking all different with this new webcam, which has bolstered my look into a much more better look. I mean, if I used the old camera, it was going to look a little bit different. I would look a little bit more darker. In contrast to what you're seeing now, there's a lot more lighter tones. You can see things very clearly. I'm actually satisfied with what's showing here. Not bad at all. And I look forward to talking to people like this soon. I also plan on buying some more accessories which can take this podcast to a whole new level. I'm doing everything possible, especially with the budget that I have. Last season, I really didn't do too much of a breakthrough besides having new equipment, which has changed things a bit earlier on this year. So I'm proud of that, as well as the sign that you see behind me. We're able to get things off the ground with that, and we hope to continue building this podcast organically in the times to come. Okay, guys. Y'all take it easy. I enjoyed talking with all of you here on this Wednesday morning, which still is Wednesday morning. I think I began this podcast around like 9-ish, and now it's already like 10-ish here in the Chicago area. So take care, and I shall talk to you again soon. Till next time.
Thanks for checking out this episode of 2400 Block Podcast. Don't forget to follow and subscribe.